Welcome back to the ONE80 podcast. I'm Addie.
I'm Sadie.
And today we have a special surprise. Cole Thompson, our youth pastor, is actually joining us today to do some interview questions because me and Sadie's brains were not functioning today. But we've decided to do something new and fun as we go into the summer. We're going to start interviewing the seniors.
How many days of school do you have left?
Seniors have 7 days of school. Everyone else has 9. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sadie? Yeah.
How do you get 2 less days of school?
Senior
Trip to Holiday World, and we skipped the last day of school.
I think Addie skipped every 3rd day of school, so
I actually
doesn't really
only went
count.
to school 2 days this week. Well, like,
Sounds like a regular week for you.
but I had like a good reason because like I had strep, and so I couldn't go to school 2 days, and then I had a doctor's appointment the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
I just go and do nothing.
Yeah.
So first question for you guys, what are you going to do after high school?
So you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first because I have more of a traditional answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to Grace College in Northern Indiana for educational ministry and digital communication.
What do you want to do with that degree?
I feel like God's called me to ministry, but I don't know what that looks like. So I envision myself working in a church, doing social media, something of the sort like I'm doing right now at 180. But I don't really know what that looks like. That's kind of just like, oh, God will figure that part out. But I think that's where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to study. So
What would like your dream job look like? Like, I mean, just to the letter, perfect job,
Working in a mega church.
everything you want. What would it be?
well, like
Where would it be? Too?
crazy would be like Sadie Robertson type Huff. Sadie Robertson Huff, like working for Live Original, that'd be wild. Or like Passion Camp type stuff, like it'd be crazy.
That'd be
but
Just go work with passion. Go live.
I
in
can't
Georgia.
imagine myself actually doing that.
You could
That'd be
go
so
work with
crazy.
CIY too.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, guys, there's a
Ozark.
lot of possibilities.
Bro, CIY, you could do a summer internship with them and run their media and stuff. That would look really good on a resume.
Really good.
Stop giving me ideas. Stop.
You don't have time this summer. Don't worry.
No, don't. Okay, Addie, what are you doing?
I'm actually moving to Guatemala in September. And doing full-time missions work.
Wowza.
Yeah, it's exciting.
What caused you to want to do that? Because that's not like Sadie's is, boring and traditional, whatever. But
Hey, it's for Jesus.
but that's kind of a, I don't know, original track. So what caused you to want to do that?
Okay, so like little backstory. I've wanted to be a chiropractor since like I was pretty young, just because honestly I wanted to be a sports chiropractor so I could find like an athletic husband. But if we're going to be completely honest, I really wanted to work with like a pro baseball team.
That's
But
disgusting.
anyways,
That's gross.
but it's fine. And then God was like, "No, you're not doing that." And I'm pretty sure that's because it was mostly driven by the want to have a husband. But
So wrong.
But God was like, "No, you're not going to do that." So I was like, "Okay, fine. I won't do that." I was like, "I'll go to Bible college." But then God was like,
Which is
"Haha,
basically
no."
the same thing. It's pretty much
Cause
Yeah,
You're-
because
you
like
go- you go
Bible,
to Bible-
bridal, it's
yeah.
like the same.
okay.
like,
why
guys,
Sadie's
if
going
I
to
come back in
college.
a year and I don't have I'm JK.
She's like,
Is she?
forget Grace. I'm moving on.
She's like, "I'm going to Guatemala too." But no, and so God just kind of like kept putting on my heart that like I just needed to go into the mission field, because anytime I looked at a college, it didn't really give me peace. It was always like I felt anxious about it, or like there was just no like comfort, no peace about it. And so then I was like, "Okay, God, what do you want me to do?" And then like thing after thing just kept happening and bunches of different confirmations. And I was like, "Okay, fine. Guess I'm moving." And so since then, I have a weird peace. Like, yeah, I'm nervous that I'm doing this, but like at the same time, like I'm excited and I feel peace about it.
Okay, moving on. You guys are wanting to start like a senior interview, right? Because of Hands on the Wall.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about Hands on the Wall?
Every year it's a tradition for the seniors to come in and put paint their hands, both hands, put their handprints on the wall in the boys' small group room, and they write their name and their favorite Bible verse. So it's just a way of like of honoring, I guess, like who's been through these walls and showing like what scripture they've leaned on throughout the years. And yeah, I think it's just a fun tradition for all the seniors as like a goodbye, farewell, send off tradition.
Yeah, I think we started it our freshman year, didn't we? I think it was
The
something.
first year we
Yeah,
did it was
because
2021. Those are the first hands that we have on the
Yeah.
wall.
yeah, so our freshman year. It's
Was
pretty
that the year
cool.
you guys were becoming freshmen, or you were already a freshman?
was
I
a
was
freshman.
already a freshman.
Yeah, we've done it. That was the first year me and Ashlyn like were in charge of high school stuff, and we started that the first year, kind of on a whim. Actually, we were kind of like, it'd be cool if we did something to honor our seniors. We're like, we should do hands on the wall. So
I actually love it. I think it's so fun. Like it's honestly part of the reason I come.
I think it's really cool. Do you do you guys remember why we use that room?
Because it's like the original youth group room, isn't it?
That's where we started. Like whenever we took over 180, we were in that room, and so it was everyone's room
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I remember my freshman year, like
Yeah, because you'd be like
everyone
everyone go
fit
upstairs and you would
inside that
like
room.
yeah.
And you'd always have to race to get to the good
So
couch.
you had a couch instead of the floor
That's
or
wild.
the chairs.
I had these two little lights that I put to the side of like the room to make it like ambient lit. And
Yeah.
But then like everyone was racing for the couches, so like it's fend for yourself. You couldn't save a seat for your friends, and then you'd end up by like smelly.
Teenage boys.
Yeah.
which
That's
we've
another
already
reason we
talked
should
about
do
in
it.
this podcast.
Can we not like talk about boys again on this podcast?
You mentioned it.
Ooh, that's funny. That's funny, that's
You
funny. All right. So with that in mind, you guys want to, you're planning to start interviewing some seniors and stuff like that. I don't have any idea what you're going to ask or questions that you have for them, but a couple of questions that I like to ask seniors. We already asked the first one, obviously, what are you going to do? What does the dream job look like? But a couple of other questions that I like to ask. We'll ask one of the questions that we would usually ask on a handprint night. What's something you wish you knew as a freshman? Like looking back at little freshmen Sadie and Addie, something you wish maybe you'd done different, or I don't know, not done maybe, or done more of, or something along those lines.
Something that I wish I just like knew deeper and more personally was like just God's faithfulness. I feel like as a freshman, I was going through some rough stuff, and it really was like a transformative time in my life of like learning about how to depend on God as my father, but it still felt like I was like trying to climb out of a hole, like finding freedom type stuff. But like I've just really seen God's faithfulness. Like he's good then, he's good now, he's always good. Like, and just seeing, like having the perspective of stepping back and just being able to recognize that was God and that was his promises coming true. Like he heard my prayers, he has a plan in all of this. So I guess like his faithfulness and just sovereignty, like he is in all and above all and through all. I think faithfulness, yeah.
I don't know. This is kind of a hard question because like my going into freshman year was different than a lot of people's, just because like at Bloomfield, elementary, middle school, and high school are all like in the same building. But like I was homeschooled until my freshman year, and so I could have used a lot of advice. But like I think what I tell people the most is school is what you make it. Like if you're going to go into school every day with a bad attitude, then you're going to have a bad attitude. Like it's you reap what you sow. And if you're sowing like negativity and if you're sowing laziness, then you're going to reap negativity and laziness. And it's like you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So like put your best foot forward and just like do it for the glory of God.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was going to say until it was out of my mouth.
It's the best feeling ever. Yeah, that's really, really cool. To hear like those different perspectives, and also like to look at it, from my perspective of watching you guys over the last couple years, and getting to see some of that growth, and getting to see you kind of put those things into action as you've went through different things and all of that. Um, it's cool to hear from you guys decided what you were going through and what you wanted to pass on. All right, next question. Something that's unique about you guys is you have attended 180 for how many years now? I
7?
mean, consistently, right? All 7?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7.
I feel like there was kind of a year in there for both of
Yeah,
you where
I
you were
was like, there was a
inconsistent.
year-ish for me that, like, I kinda didn't come my junior year, I think.
I don't think I
Mhm.
was consistent my freshman year.
Yeah, I think my junior year, like, I would pop in, but, like, I was stupid. Like, honestly. Like,
I was just sad my freshman year, and instead of going to church, I guess I was just sad.
You just sat at home because that's
But
the
I
healthy thing.
literally,
'cause that's smart.
I have no recollection of that. Like,
Yeah, my
All
junior
right,
year was kinda
but
traumatizing.
but something that like that's unique because it's very, very uncommon for a student to come all the way from 6th grade and finish out in high school. As we've like even seen over the last couple of years that I've been here, students that I've seen for several years will drop off the face of the earth kind of unexpectedly. But you guys have been really, really consistent. And why have you consistently come, and what's made going to 180 worthwhile versus, all the other things that you could do instead?
I think to piggyback off of what Addie just said, like you reap what you sow. We have to invest in church and a church community and church teaching, church knowledge, just like if we want to get something out of church and gain stuff from the Bible, the word, grow in our faith, I think a place like 180 is just something that you're going to have to invest into, not only for the peers around you, but also like the mentors you'll get. Like, I cannot imagine if I was not able to just text Ashlyn on a random day and be like, hey, can you pray for this? Or hey, what's your opinion on this? Like, 180 has been such a gift in growing the friendships and relationships, having the church feel like a home to me, and then like gaining those mentorships, like situation where I can rely on those people. And then now that I'm a senior, I can help the underclassmen grow in their faith as well. So I think it's just more like a family. You're going to invest in them and it'll pay off.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I agree actually very, very much so with what Sadie said. Um, as like, I was homeschooled, like I said earlier. And so like I always felt like an outsider. Um, which like I think is very normal. Like even if I would have gone to public school, I really think I still would have probably felt like an outsider. Like I'm very good at pretending to be extroverted because like I know that God like calls me to be extroverted, but like I just don't like social situations. I always like feel like I make myself look dumb. Like and I just like it rockets my anxiety and I just don't enjoy it. But like coming to 180, like it made me feel like I did belong even if like I'm not always constantly talking to somebody. Like I always felt like if I came here, I would have a friend in the corner. Like, even if it was just an adult at the time, like, there was always somebody I could turn to. And so, like, I really do think that it's just kind of a family. Like, you're not always going to sit down and talk with your brothers or sisters, but like, they're always there. And so, like, yeah, I think I just agree with Sadie on that.
That was all really, really good. I'm like, wow, like maybe what we do at 180 does matter.
It does.
What
You matter,
about
Cole.
stop, don't choke me up. Um, Also another thing that you guys have both done that's unique. You both at different times have served in like a leadership capacity of some kind at 180. So Addie, you were back whenever we did like a student worship team. Addie was on that way back, and that was a complete train wreck.
I was a train wreck.
But
I did it.
I had a lot of learning to do. That was largely my fault. But Addie was on that. Addie used to help at Junior High 180. I don't know if that was out of choice,
It wasn't.
but she used to help at Junior High 180. And then now you help on the worship team, which is, I think, a little bit better put together than it was the first time you did. She's supposed to affirm me there, but she didn't. It's fine. Okay. And then Sadie,
No, it is better. It is.
Whatever.
It
I
is.
don't need your pity.
It is because like
And
I was
then-
just thinking, and like I had like a lot of like I was very nervous about going onto the worship team this time. I think the first time it kind of traumatized me.
It
Like
traumatized you?
it did. Like I was very nervous to like be like, "Hey Cole, can I do worship?" Because like I love leading worship. Like you better not watch me driving down the road because half the time my hands aren't on the wheel, they're in the air. Like I love worshiping. And like I was just so nervous to ask because like it was so bad the first time I did it. And like that made me like really nervous because I don't know, it made me so nervous to ask. Like I
Why
just
was
didn't
it
wanna do
bad?
it was rough. Like it was 3 of us, a guitar player, a keyboard, and then me singing. And like it was just not good.
What
The
year was
keyboard-
this?
Freshman, sophomore?
This would be why I don't
It's like
remember
a
it.
freshman. I think it was freshman.
It was either freshman or sophomore year.
There's 3 freshmen who none of them
No, it
practiced.
was 2 freshmen
and-
and a sophomore. And the sophomore, like, he was the guitar player. He would sometimes practice, but not a lot. And then,
It's a guitar player thing.
isn't that what I said?
Yeah, I know. I was just
Oh, I understand now. And then the keyboard player, I don't even think he owned a piano or a keyboard. Like he would literally show up to worship practice and like Cole would teach him how to play it. And like I'm really bad at learning song lyrics and like actually getting them like right. Cause like I'll know the gist and like I'll know the beat, but like I'm really bad about like just doing it, especially if like my keyboard and my guitar don't know what's going on and they all just panic.
and we don't have any confidence monitors upstairs, so
Yeah.
you're
We have no
just-
confidence monitors.
And I really strongly
Screens on the back wall.
try to stress.
Yeah. and so, like,
memorizing. I didn't
it
want you holding a
just-
phone,
ugh.
so
No, it made me so nervous. I just didn't like it. And then like I think sophomore year I quit that.
well, I kind of
It was-
disbanded it at that point.
Well, that's because like half of us quit.
I
The
also
guitar player quit.
I also just didn't set up
And I
well. I
quit.
think most times you come into practice and like things would just start going south. And I'd be like, everyone stop and we're just gonna pray for 30 minutes. And we
Yeah.
would just like pray. And I'd be like, go spend time with the Lord.
Yeah, he would. Like we would
And-
honestly like never make it through a song because it was so bad.
I was like,
And, like,
go.
It just made me
I
like
mean-
hate singing for a while because I was like, I suck. And like I'm really bad about like taking everyone's like burden. Cause like, well, it wasn't just me that was like struggling. It was all of us, but I was like, this is all my fault. And like I would beat myself up to the nth degree. And like it just caused it to where like I didn't want to do it. I also quit my church's worship team at about that same time.
It's nice to know I
just
caused a
because,
lot of
like,
trauma.
I was like, I hated it. Like I hated it. And so like I was really nervous to like come back and do it. But like I don't know, I enjoy doing it now. It was hard for me. But like I also led worship during like junior high too. Because like that was before Ashland days and that was like just me and Cole. And I liked doing that because Cole would sing and I would sing and like it wasn't just me. It made me feel better. And we had confidence monitors.
They have them downstairs and they're real nice.
Yeah, because we used to do it all downstairs in the old days.
Junior high's still downstairs.
That's crazy.
It's there are nice parts about it.
Was there more to that question than just my trauma?
Yeah, the original question was, what did you learn while being a leader? And I was going through the list of things that you'd done, and I didn't even make it to Sadie. So we'll just start with you. I guess you kind of answered the question of what did you learn? You learned that you were traumatized.
I learned that I was traumatized. Hold on. I
Church
have to
hurt
think.
101. Here we go.
Whoopsies.
Guys, we cannot say that. She's not
Yes,
actually.
you can.
I feel like she's not actually.
I think
No, I feel like you can say that.
I can. She's complaining about me.
Yeah.
What I did. Sadie,
Thanks.
let's see if we can get some cohesive thought from you. So you have. Let's see. Let's go down the list of things that you've done. Serving social media, obviously, you like completely revolutionized everything that Tulip does with social media, in the way that we handle all online presence. So that's one big thing that you've done to help. You help on middle school nights, and as all of the leaders at 180 do, you do everything that's asked of you. You haven't led worship yet. That's the only.
That probably won't be happening.
That's the only job that you haven't done, but you've done
Correct.
everything else on a middle school night. You've went to
Camp.
Yep, you went to CIY with us last year for our middle school camp, which was a great time. One of my most distinct camp memories I will always have was you leading the girls and making them memorize Psalm 23 one afternoon.
Cole still makes fun of me for that, but hey,
They still know it.
what else can you do besides teach kids scripture? So
It was so funny, actually.
I loved it.
It was great.
Hey, I don't think we'll ever forget like sitting on a dock for 2 hours learning Psalm 23.
All right, context real quick for people that are listening. We're at CIY and they have like 40 different stations set up of things that you can do in order to, like, pursue the Lord throughout this whole campground. This is huge campground. It's probably like, I don't know what, a couple miles long. All these different things you can do. And Sadie goes through the list of activities and picks out memorize Psalm 23. And so literally the entire afternoon, we sat on a boat dock and memorized Psalm 23.
And I don't regret it. I think it was great.
I think it was probably the right thing to do. But
It made us slow down.
It did, which
And
was the purpose of the whole thing.
Exactly. It made us slow down. We grew together as a team and with the kids, and it was memorable. And Psalm 23 was personally like transforming my life. So I wanted to share it with the little children, and it was fun. We had a great view while doing it. We were looking at the lake. I also did not anticipate whatsoever that it was going to take 2 hours. But we couldn't just like stop halfway through. We had to like persevere, get through all 6 verses.
It's definitely one of those moments where, like, as a leader, you give someone control.
Cole wanted to take away all my power.
Was like halfway through, I was like, we have to stop this. It has to change. But I left it in Sadie's hands, and I'm very glad I did, because it was the right thing to do. And Sadie was teaching me things at that point, but it was hard in the moment. I had to relinquish all that control and give it to her. But
I'm glad you gave me some control.
Those are all the things that you've done that I can think of off the top of my head. So what are some things you've learned while being a leader at 180?
I'd say I've learned like the difference of going into it as like, this is what I have to do. This is my job. I'm here to do it. And going into serving as like, the Lord is here and present, and this is where he's called me, and like this is just fun. This is what church is supposed to be. Because I've just noticed the simple, like if I pray before junior high nights or something, like it feels so different than if I have to go to church and I'll have to run slides and I'll have to clean up and I'll have to film videos. But when I stay in that heart posture of like, this is such a gift that I get to spend time and invest in these little kids' lives and throw the lyrics up on the wall for them so that they can sing, which one night there was not a track playing because Cole wasn't there and Jeff led worship. And so you could hear the kids' voices. And hearing junior high kids worship, I could have cried. And like just seeing childlike faith and just living life with them. Again, going back to like what I like so much about 180 is just like investing in each other's lives. So being able to learn what it looks like to just invest in others' lives, whether it's just a quick conversation at dinner or asking them to film a video with me, which they love to do, or forcing myself to play a game with them even when I don't want to. It's just like the little moments that show this is what church is supposed to be. And it's been a joy.
Yeah. I loved like the working with the junior high kids days because like you get to set the mood for church for them basically. And like I just love that because like whenever they think about their youth group years, like they'll think about you. And like I just love like I love that time that you get to spend with them. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's really true and crazy to think about that. Like as a high school leader, like it's a really unique and special role that even years down. Like I remember when I was in middle school youth group, like I still remember some of the leaders, and then I'll randomly have like, you know, 20 some year olds come up to me now and be like, Cole, you were like a leader when I was in middle school 180. Like, have you met my baby? And I'm like, I feel old, but it's just been like long enough that like they've lived a lot of life, but they still remember that. And so that's really cool. It's really good.
I have my answer.
You have your,
I do.
you've been really thinking over there.
I have. It was really hard for me to like come up with an answer. But like, cause like I was trying to like, I had like it in my head. I just couldn't like get it out. But like, I think my answer is you can't let your past experiences dictate your future. Because like if I would have let like, you know, my first worship team experience
Is that a
dictate
teaching point lately?
now. Huh?
I feel like I've heard that lately.
Did you say it?
I don't know, maybe.
Did he say that?
I've heard that at some point. I don't know if I said
I
it or
don't
someone
think
else said
so.
it.
I don't know.
All right, continue.
Anyways, if I would have let like my first worship team experience dictate like my now worship team experience, I would be miserable. And like I honestly probably actually wouldn't be on the team. But like I had to just like leave the past behind me. No, yeah. And I've seen that a lot like throughout, you know, watching everyone and watching kids and stuff. Like a lot of them carry like past burdens with them, but like you don't have to. And so, yeah, I would say leaving my past experiences behind me has been my biggest lesson.
I think that goes with a lot of aspects of church and 180 youth group in general, of just like we get this idea of reading our Bible, or we get this idea of not feeling like we fit in, so we shouldn't go anymore, or whatever lies we may think are true when we come to youth group, and then just stick to it and then say, oh yeah, I tried to go to 180, or any youth group for that matter. I tried to go a couple years ago and this happened, so I'll never go again. I think we get so it's so normal to just get stuck in a thought pattern, and we never even think to like, oh, let's try it again.
Yeah.
When in faith in general, we have to always try again. We have to open up the Bible again, go to God again. So I hope that's encouragement maybe to,
Somebody.
yeah, try church again.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. It's also like on that, me and Ashlyn were talking the other day, and like I was just kind of thinking, and I don't know if it's because I've listened to a couple of podcasts with JP in them, and he just released a book down not that long ago. But
I want that.
I
Wait, I
also
got
want
that book.
It's called Your Story Has a Villain. Everyone should go buy that book right now. I've not even listened to it or read it, but I already know it's good. But I don't know, like as I've been reading through scripture and like preparing different things, like just the fact that there's someone who's actively working against us, like being in community with God or being in community with each other, like in, you know, Christian faith, like has really stuck out to me. And it's made it to the point where like it's almost not a surprise whenever students like drop off or they stop coming, because like the enemy doesn't care if you go to, you know, toast off, doesn't care if you go to open gym or if you go to practice or if you go to work or if you stay at home. Like he doesn't care, but he's actively working against you being in community with other Christians. And so like obviously that's going to be a hard choice. That's an intentional choice that someone's going to have to make. Like we don't
Mhm.
have to intentionally make a choice to go to practice because we just do it. But like we have to be really intentional about the decisions of, coming to youth group. And it always feels like a hard decision. And that goes through these seasons where it's really, really hard. And like that shouldn't be a surprise to us because literally there's someone who's actively working against us to prevent us from being in that community. So that's really good, like points that you guys point out and stuff.
To go off of what Cole just said, I think just being aware of those forces that are working against you and then combating those situations and circumstances with setting an intentional time of choosing to be with the Lord or choosing to act in community or choosing to take that step of faith and trying again. I think what he just says just showed like if we do try faith again, if we do try reading our Bible again, if we do try prayer again, it's a stab to the enemy. He doesn't want that, but that's exactly what we need. So I think the challenge would be do something this week that the enemy wouldn't like.
Yeah. That the enemy goes, oh, crap. Why'd she do that? Or why'd he do that? I literally, like, I think about that all the time. Like, I want my feet to hit the floor and I want the devil to be like, dang it, she's out of bed. Like,
Yeah.
do that. Like, for some people, it really may be getting out of bed. Like, be intentional in your decisions.
So,
Challenge the enemy.
in summary, your challenge this week is to make the enemy say, oh crap. That's what I heard.
All right, thanks for joining us this week, guys. I hope you have a blessed week.
Peace.